Hello, everybody. My name is Monterosis Man, and welcome to my 40 subscriber video. I'm really excited that I get to do this video, and I just finished typing out what I'm going to say. So, this video, I'm going to tell you what my life has been about so far. Warning right now, I'm going to say it's not pretty and it's not nice. It's actually kind of sad. So, if you don't want to listen to it, and go ahead and stop now. So, it's just a little warning for you guys. So, now that you've been warned, we're going to jump into it. I want to start off by saying thank you guys so much for 40 subscribers. And in this video, I will tell you what my life has been like growing up so far. So, with that said, let's begin. I was born on February 19th, 2002 at 10:06 a.m. I was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And a little fun fact, I was also born during one of the worst thunderstorms Michigan has ever seen in a long time. The storm was so bad that it took out the hospital's power. Not joking. Thank God that generators existed back then. I cannot speak words today. My mother always told me, as long as I can remember, that I was a very hairy baby. I don't know my exact weight when I was born. I don't know how long I was when I was born. I wasn't very big. I wasn't a big baby. Let's fast forward about 6 months. My family loved me. My aunts, my uncles, my cousins, all the time were always gone camping, doing this and that. And my mother, doing this or that. That's exactly what I typed. I forgot. They always invited my mother to come along, and they always told her, don't forget to bring Brandon. I was a little chubby in the face area when I was little. Still kind of am. When I turned 1 year old, my aunt gave me my very first haircut. After I was born, I started to lose some of my sexy hair. So my first haircut didn't take long. A little snip here, a little snip there, and it was done. Like all babies on their first birthday, when they see their cake put in front of them, they always want to face plant into it. And carrying out that tradition, I did. I normally don't like to talk about my dad or any of his family, but for you guys, I'll make an exception. My mom and my dad were far from the best couple on the planet. They fought a lot, and my dad was violent. He was a big drinker. He was a horrible alcoholic. Fast forward to when I was about 6. The same thing continued all throughout those years, but we're going to fast forward to about then. My dad used to beat me with a belt. He took my mother to court so many times for custody battles that the judge just decided to have me go on scheduled visits. Scheduled visits to go over to his house. And when I made him angry, or I did something that he didn't like, he would take his anger out on me. And like I said to you, he would beat me with a belt. When I first started kindergarten, or maybe it was first grade, I don't quite remember at the moment. We were a couple months into the school year. The night before, he had beaten me with a belt again. And when it was time for us to circle up, I couldn't do it. I was hurting too much. I fought and fought, tried not to go over to his house, but it was either I had to go over to his house or my mother would go to jail. I had 3 stepbrothers at my dad's house. They were all mean to me. They bit me, they kicked me, did horrible things to me. Finally, I just said, enough is enough. And I stopped going over to his house. I went before the judge and I told him that I didn't want to go over there with him anymore. During this time, I lost my grandma, and that was really hard for me. Me and my grandparents were really, really close, and my grandpa was already suffering from cancer. He was having chemotherapy done, but it wasn't working, and we all knew it would just be a matter of time before he died. After she died, he went into a deep state of depression. Later, he was transferred from the hospital over to my aunt's house, who was a retired nurse. They kept him on so many drugs so he wouldn't be awake. We had kind of a reunion party for him. We brought all of his old friends back and we sat around. And as we sat around him, as he sat in the hospital bed, unconscious, they told stories about when they went fishing and hunting and all that stuff. And I swear, when you look over at him, I swear you'd see a little smirk on his face. Like he was still there. Like he knew what they were saying. Like he could remember it. After the party was over, me and my mother went home, and so did a couple of my aunts and my uncles. We barely made it in the front door when my aunt called us and said we needed to come back right away. He was very uncomfortable, and he was turning and moaning, and we all knew he didn't like the silence because we told him that we would never let him die alone. After we slept that night, we drove another 3 hours all the way back out to where he was to see him, and it was a good thing we did because he passed away hours later. This was a really hard time for me. I was going through all the crap with my dad and my stepbrothers and then my grandparents, which were really close to me. It really took a toll on me. They both died in 2009. That was also the year I fell into a depression. Times were tough back then. My mother was not making money because we were driving back and forth from Grand Rapids all the way to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and we were going to the funerals, and she just wasn't working at the time. We were just too sad and too upset to work, so we just sat around and chewed through our savings. 2010, a year later, my aunt took me and my mother down to Orlando, Florida to Disney World and take our minds off of what had happened. It helped a lot. It was fun, but I was still dealing with all the shit from my dad. He was putting me through, and my mother what he was putting me and my mother through. The things he did the things he did the things that he did that made me angry. I watched him beat her. I watched him knock her down. I watched them fight, and I listened to the things they called each other. I watched him break my front door down, and I watched him almost run my mother over with his car. As a child, It was hard for me to witness all of this, and even as an adult, it's very hard for someone to comprehend all this. But as for a child, it was me as a child, it was just overwhelming, and all this anger built up inside me. And one day I cracked. I watched him hit my mother, and I listened to them fighting. And I just got so angry that I came at him with a knife. I chased him out of my house. I chased him into his car, and he drove away. Thanks to him now, I have a very horrible temper, and I have a very bad anger issues. Today I've learned how to deal with them, but some days I still get overwhelmed, and I struggle in school because of his damage he had already done to me. And it showed. 2 years later, in 2012, my mother, my aunt, another aunt, and an uncle went on a trip out to Las Vegas. We rented a car and we drove around. We drove to the Grand Canyon, to Zion Canyon, to Bryce Canyon. We even drove through Death Valley. This is a really fun time. Then we came back to Las Vegas and we stayed there for a couple of days, and it was just so much fun walking down the strip, seeing everything. It was really a happy time, and that started to rub off on me. That year I started to do better in school. I did better the next year, which was my 6th grade year, and I wasn't getting into trouble anymore. I was finally making friends, and then I discovered YouTube. I started making YouTube videos. It was really fun. And then for my 13th birthday, I got a new computer. I got a new computer. And I started working more on my videos and putting better quality into them. And I passed 7th grade with actually pretty good grades. All this summer, I made YouTube videos. Move this out of the way. I made YouTube videos for you guys, and it was really fun. I enjoyed it. It was the most fun I've had in years. And that brings us to today. Today was my first day back to school. I got to see a lot of new faces, and I got to see a lot of familiar faces. It was actually a pretty fun day. I came home, I came downstairs, and I made a Nagario video. Then I made a Happy Wheels video. And now I'm making my 40 subscriber video telling you guys about my life. It's a lot of fun making videos for you guys. I really do enjoy it. And now you guys know a little bit more about me. So thank you guys so much for 40 subscribers. It really means a lot to me. I've had to overcome a lot, and all this joy really does make me happy. You guys mean a lot to me. I care about you guys a lot. And just to see that my videos are getting views puts a smile on my face for the whole day. And that's all I need to get through the day, is a smile. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and like the video down below. And if you want, you can leave me a nice comment. If you want to be alerted whenever I upload a new YouTube video, or if you just want to see more content from me in general, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. And I guess I will see you guys later. Montrosusman out. Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much.